There are numerous examples of countries with troubled borders: North Korea, South Korea, India, Pakistan, India, China, East Germany, West Germany, but none of these countries have a border as troubled as that of Israel. Israel is one of the many examples of perpetual chaos created by Britishers and the circumstances. In spite of extreme situation, numerous attacks and wars with countries and terrorist groups, and international politics, Israel has not just survived, but thrived. US has played a very pivotal role in ensuring Israel's existence and growth. Russia had dominance in Middle East region through its relations with many Middle Eastern countries. US had pinned all their hopes on Israel to counter dominance of Russia and have their own dominance. US invested heavily to help Israel develop expertise in arms industry and supported Israel to counter threat from its neighboring nations. US also supported and nurtured Israel's technology and startup industries. With hard work, smart work and resilience, Israel is now among the top 20 largest country in terms of per capita GDP, putting them ahead of the likes of UK, South Korea and Japan. Israel has one of the world's strongest intelligence agency, has won the world's highest number of startups, and has one of the world's most technologically advanced defense system and weapon manufacturing. This is the story of Israel, her struggle, survival and conquest of the world. You must have heard about how Hitler had treated the Jews. But do you know that the atrocities against Jews began thousands of years ago? In the 1st century, when the Jewish civilization in Israel was already over 1,000 years old, Rome destroyed the Holy Temple in Jerusalem and conquered the Jewish nation. In 1915, under World War I, the British, French, and Arab revolutionaries were fighting against the Ottoman Empire. The British told the Arab revolutionaries that in return for their support in defeating the Ottoman Empire they would give them the Palestine area. They promised the same thing to the Jews, that they would give them their own Jewish country near Palestine. But in reality, the British made a secret deal with the French. As soon as the Ottoman Empire fell after World War I, Britain and the French divided the Middle East area between themselves. The British took over the control of the Palestine region. Following Britain's February 1947 announcement of its intention to terminate its mandate government, the UN General Assembly appointed a special committee. The UN kept 57% of the area for the Jewish country, and after a struggle of thousands of years, Israel was born. Immediately following the declaration of the new state, both superpower leaders, US President Harry Truman and Soviet leader Joseph Stalin, recognized the new state. The plan, although accepted by the international community, was rejected by the Arabs, and in May 1948, as British forces withdrew, Israel was born in a region with unresolved disputes over borders, security, land ownership, and other matters. Since that time, Israel has fought several conflicts with various Arab forces. Jerusalem is a city of most strategic importance to the world's largest religions, and at the same time it is also the most disputed, unstable city that has seen the most blood spilled as well. Jerusalem is considered sacred by not just Jews but also Christians and Muslims. It is said that Jesus Christ was born into a Jewish family. However, some Christians believe that some Jews wanted to crucify Jesus Christ. This belief created a hatred of Christians towards Jews. After 1800, this hatred towards the Jews was not only because of religious reasons but also because of the Jews being seen as a different ethnicity as well. Jerusalem is important to Muslims as well. According to Islamic tradition, the Prophet traveled miraculously from Mecca to Jerusalem and then upwards through the 7 heavens, culminating in a direct conversation with vision of God. This was to become Islam's 3rd holiest place of pilgrimage for Muslims. After the First Arab-Israeli War, the city of Jerusalem was divided into a western portion under Israeli rule, called Jerusalem, and an eastern portion under Arab-Jordanian rule, called East Jerusalem. Israel occupied East Jerusalem in the Six-Day War in 1967. But it's also the Palestinians' largest urban population center apart from Gaza. Palestinians view East Jerusalem as the capital of a future Palestinian state. The Palestinian Authority, as well as the broader Arab and Muslim world, considers Israel's annexation of East Jerusalem illegal and sees the city as occupied territory. On May 14, the eve of the British withdrawal, Israel declared its independence. The following day, the armies of Egypt, Transjordan, Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon invaded and attacked the Jewish paramilitaries. While the Arab armies had modern artillery and armored vehicles, less than two-thirds of the fighters of the Israeli force were armed. On May 28 the Jewish quarter of Jerusalem's Old City was taken by Transjordan's armed forces. Since the Israeli army was very small compared to that of the Arab army, therefore, they used different tactics and tricks during the war. One famous method involved attaching loudspeakers to vehicles or planes to broadcast recorded sounds of bombs, artillery fire, and even fake battle noises. These sounds were played during night operations to give the impression of a much larger and more powerful force, causing panic among the Arab soldiers. Israel also used tactics like mock military movements, using decommissioned artillery pieces, to create the illusion of having more firepower than they possessed, spreading misinformation through various channels, including radio broadcasts and leaflets, to create confusion among Arab forces. Israel fought various wars post the First War and is still fighting wars on many fronts. These include the Suez Crisis of 1956, the Six-Day War of 1967, Yom Kippur War of 1973, Lebanon War of 1982 and Second Lebanon War of 2006 and many others. While Israel was very weak compared to the joint might of Arab nations, Israel quickly worked on all fronts and not just became self-sufficient but a major exporter and a fearsome opponent. Initially Israel was dependent on other countries for its military equipment, but soon they understood that if it remained dependent upon other nations then it could never match the manpower, weaponry, and finance of Arab nations. Israel now spends 6% of its GDP on defense. It also spends 30% of its R&D budget on military research. US spends only 17% of its R&D budget on military research. The United States had a huge role in nurturing Israel's arms industry. About one-fourth of Israel's annual defense spending is being funded by the United States. Today Israel is one of the largest arms-producing nations of the world. Data drawn from the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute reveals that Tel Aviv is the 10th largest exporter of defense equipment in the world. It supplies 10% of military equipment to the EU and USA, and about 60% of military drones are developed in Israel. Israel is also one of the few countries which has independent satellite launching capabilities. Israel is widely recognized for its significant technological advancements, particularly in military and defense systems. These innovations have played a critical role in maintaining Israel's security in a region marked by frequent conflicts and tense relations with neighboring countries. Some of the key technological advancements include Iron Dome, an air defense system designed to intercept and destroy short-range rockets and artillery shells often used to counter threats from Gaza Strip and Palestine. David Sling, designed for taking down short-range ballistic missiles, aircraft, drones, and cruise missiles often used to counter threats from Hezbollah in Lebanon. Arrow Missile System, which is intended to take down long-range ballistic missiles, and many others like Iron Beam, Lavender, the Gospel, etc. One thing that also separates Israel from the rest is its intelligence agency, Mossad. Mossad is considered as one of the world's most elite spy agencies, and is known for its stealth and precision. Mossad was founded in 1949 after the First War of Israel. Mossad is concerned with foreign intelligence gathering, intelligence analysis, and covert operations. Mossad's worth can be understood by the success of Israel in Arab-Israeli wars. It is known for finding its enemy from any corner of the world. Apart from these, Israel is also believed to be a nuclear power. According to the report by the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, Israel produced nuclear weapons at an average rate of 2 per year and stopped production in 2004. The report stated that Israel has 80 nuclear warheads and has enough fissile material to produce 190 more. Israel's economy was struggling at the time of its independence due to the First Arab-Israeli War and the influx of refugees. For the growth of their economy, Israel focused primarily on high technology, industrial manufacturing, and agricultural development. Although they did not have many deposits of natural resources, what they did have was a large population filled with various skills who had the enthusiasm to do something for their country. At the end of the 20th century, millions of Jews migrated to Israel, and the scientific and technical expertise that these highly educated immigrants brought with them led to a huge boost in Israel's technology sector. To increase international investments in their country, Israel started many attractive venture capital programs. Israel's economic growth also attracted big billionaires like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Donald Trump, etc. to invest in their companies. The Israeli government founded the Technology Incubator Program in the early 1990s. Today there are over 25 incubators across the country, all of which have been privatized. The incubators offer government funding of up to 85% of early-stage project costs for 2 years. They nurture companies from seed to early stage, thus minimizing the risk to the investor. More than 1,100 projects have so far graduated from the incubators, with over 45% successfully attracting additional investments from different investors. Due to its investments in R&D and innovation, Israel has the second largest number of startups, after the United States, and the third largest number of Nasdaq-listed companies. With 2,000 startups founded in the past decade, it is the world's leader in startups per capita. Israeli entrepreneurs often focus on creating practical solutions to pressing challenges, from cybersecurity to water conservation. This focus on innovation driven by necessity has resulted in numerous technological breakthroughs with global impact. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains a central issue, with ongoing tensions and violence in Gaza and the West Bank. The situation in Gaza is particularly volatile, with frequent rocket attacks by Hamas and other militant groups, prompting military responses from Israel. In the West Bank, the expansion of Israeli settlements and the displacement of Palestinian community fuel resentment and conflict, making peace efforts exceedingly difficult. In northern Israel, the presence of Hezbollah in Lebanon poses a significant threat. Hezbollah, backed by Iran, has a large arsenal of rockets capable of striking deep into Israeli territory. The group's military buildup and frequent skirmishes along the Israel-Lebanon border keep the region on edge and threaten to escalate into broader conflict. Israel often faces criticism from the United Nations and other international bodies, where resolutions against its policies in the occupied territories are frequently passed. Despite support from key allies like the United States, Israel finds itself diplomatically isolated in many global discussions. While Israel maintains strong ties with the US, its relationship with the European Union is more complex. The EU often criticizes Israel's settlement policies and human rights record, which complicates trade and diplomatic relations. Israel's population is diverse, with significant Jewish, Arab, and ultra-Orthodox communities. The integration of these groups into the workforce and society is crucial for national unity. Also, the political environment in Israel has seen significant turmoil, with recent elections reflecting deep divisions within society. Political stability will be crucial for addressing both domestic and external challenges. The ability of the government to navigate these complexities will determine the effectiveness of its policies moving forward. The future of Israel's economy will likely be influenced by its ability to sustain technological progress and leverage its innovations in global markets. Emerging powers like China and India present both challenges and opportunities for Israel in terms of trade, diplomacy, and strategic partnerships. Navigating these shifts requires a careful balance of maintaining established alliances while exploring new opportunities for cooperation. Israel's ability to adapt to changing geopolitical landscapes will be crucial for its future security and prosperity. For more such geopolitical and global case studies, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon. Please don't forget to watch the next video.